Whether you're a professional builder, an owner builder, or even if you're working for a lumber company, it's hard to get the job going without ordering material. One of the things that I do at Residential Estimating is I provide lumber takeoff services for customers and clients. So what I do is I try to give you the same type of estimate that I wanted when I was in your shoes. Now, I've been estimating since 1992, and I've produced a lot of systems based on my experience building both custom and production homes. What I really have come to find is that the better organized you are up front, the better outcome you can expect on the back end. When it comes to ordering material, what you don't want to do is order all of the material at the same time. What you want to do is break it down according to when you need it, which is exactly what I do. So if you're here, you've checked out the website, there's a whole lot more information that I've got that I hope that you'll take advantage of. Some sample estimates that you can kind of go through, pretend they were yours, ask yourself the questions, maybe find some of the answers that I can provide for you within that. Then we have a lot more information that really with this video I don't have time to go into, but I hope you'll visit lumbertakeoff.com and just kind of go through there. Call me, by the way. Call me at this number and I will be glad to chat with you about what you need done. There's no obligation for that. It's just a matter of I want to make sure that if you have a need that I can fill it, and if I'm not the right fit, at least you'll have the chance to determine that on your own. But what we do with Residential Estimating is I produce lumber takeoffs. Now, lumber takeoff is typically going to come in two flavors. The traditional lumber takeoff is what you see here, and it is, generally speaking, a roll-up of the material that you need to have lumber companies bid. Now, this is very important to any builder, and it's even fair to the lumber companies that they are all bidding the exact same apples-to-apples list. So that's the first thing you get from a lumber takeoff is a singular list that everybody's quoting. Because some people will go to 3 different lumber companies, and the lumber companies will produce 3 different lumber takeoffs, some with different materials than the others, some will leave materials out. And what you want is a unified list that everybody can quote, so that it's fair to all parties. So what you're really looking for is a snapshot of what the pricing is at the moment that you need to build the house. So that's what this type of lumber takeoff provides you, and I'll take you through it. I've got some notes that basically document what my findings were within the estimate. But then I break it down according to when you want to order material. For example, I have framing hardware on the front of the estimate because often you want to protect this material, so we order it separately. So then we have our lumber takeoff, and that's where it begins with first frame package for the walls, because you're going to build the walls first. After that, you'll need your engineered beams. After that, you'll need your joists. Then we'll have some stair materials so you can get to the second level to put down your subfloor and so forth. So I break the material down into what is called order points. Now, some builders will call these divisions, and what you call it isn't so important as the fact that we're not delivering all the material at once. So that's one of the prime benefits that you'll get when I do a lumber takeoff for you, is I'm going to help you manage your material on site. If it's not delivered, it can't be stolen. If it's not delivered, it can't be misused. And it's surprising how often I'll hear builders that say, well, I'm short material, but their neighbor, in one case we had a roofing estimate, but it turned out the neighbor was borrowing some shingles to build their daughter a playhouse. And, there's no telling what other materials that they had been short on, but they discovered it when the roof was the exact same as went on the house. So these are ways that if we order the material in a just-in-time format, then we can deliver it when the trades are on site, that they can put the material to use. For example, sometimes we'll see sheathing delivered, and I can show you that. Sheathing, 102 sheets of sheathing for this particular house. And if you deliver that and don't get it put on the house quickly, it's very likely it'll be stolen, because sheathing and plywood goods to begin with are very expensive. You'll go back here and you can see we have some subfloor material right here. 18 sheets of tongue and groove subfloor plywood. Well, during COVID, this material was running $110 to $120 a sheet. So it's very valuable, and when you replace it, it's going to be a hit to your budget. I want to help you save that hassle. So that's good. This is a good lumber takeoff. It's we have 5 pages long. It's easy to manage. It's easy to send to 5 different lumber companies. It'll be a PDF, obviously. But then we have something that really expands on this idea of communication. And that is the detailed version of this estimate. So let me go into this. And what I'm going to do is show you the detail that I place in here so that before we even commit to the job, that you can review this to see, did the estimator make the decisions the same way the builder or the framer would make? And so I include notes in here, a lot of notes. And in this case, the first order point really isn't something you can order, but this is a roll-up of things like square footages, lengths of overhang, length of walls, square footages of brick, siding, in stucco or stone would be in here as well. So this way you can say, well, I didn't want stone on that house, or I didn't want brick. So why do we have that brick? Well, in this case, we had a small portion of brick, and I gave him how many square foot of brick they had. So when we get into the actual items, you'll see that I've got notes that are in red that tell the builder what I was thinking. And in this case, I was thinking I have allowed, let's say these 2x12 headers. I've allowed for 2x12 headers only under the second floor area. This house had a larger footprint on the first floor than it did on the second floor, and so some of those areas didn't need to have 2x12 headers. And this is what I'm telling the builder what I've done, because some builders will have an internal policy that at the first floor level of a 2-story house, all the headers are to be 2x12. And so what I'm trying to do here is be cost effective for the builder, cost effective with his or her material, but also trying to allow them to say, call me on the phone and say, Daniel, where you gave me 2x10 headers, don't want those. I want them all to be 2x12. This is about communication back to you, the builder, and then you can hand this to the framer, to where if the framer was trying to use 2x12 headers all downstairs, but you agree that you don't need 2x12 headers, well, this is a way to complete that communication chain. The main thing at the end of the day is we want the right amount of material and the right dimensions of material on site as best we can. So the best I can do for you is communicate back to you what I was thinking and make the agreement that if something needs to be changed, I'll change it. Don't charge extra for that. We're just trying to get you a tighter estimate as we go along. So we've got these notes that are in red. Some of these notes follow along with the material themselves. Some are follow along with the use of the material. But what you're going to see here is I'm absolutely telling you, in this case, pick this randomly, 7 2x10 by 10 footers. I need 1 of those for beams, and I need 6 of those for ceiling joists. Probably that 10 footer is going to be cut in half and used as a double 5-foot beam. So the point is, I'm communicating back to the builder, that's you, what I'm thinking when I do the estimate. Now, why is this a benefit to you? And the main thing goes back to is it's communicating to you what I was thinking. It completes the chain from me to the lumber company to you to the framer, that if anybody sees something that they don't like, they can pull the chain and we can huddle up and we can make whatever changes are necessary. The main thing I want is for you to be successful with your estimate. So I hope that has given you some food for thought. If you have some questions based on what I've shown you, please give me a call. The number here is 832-277-7203. My name is Dan McJunkin. I want to talk to you about how I can make what I do work for you and your organization so that you can be as successful as possible. Once again, thanks for taking the time to check out this video and to consider using residential estimating service for your estimating needs. I wish you well, and give me a call anytime.